Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a special little reading I'm going to do. I'm saying little. We'll see how short it really is, but we'll give it the time that it needs. We're going to do what I call current love messages. This is really for those who may be in love with someone, but maybe contact has stopped or it's here and there, that type of thing. We want to know what their current feelings are right now, but I'm also going to look at your feelings relating to the whole situation. So we're going to ask um, to our spirit guides, by the way, your spirit guides, our spirit guides. We're going to ask 5 specific questions. Number one will be their feelings for you right now. So, what are they thinking right now? This is probably something you don't know, um, but we'll see. And then their current view of you right now. What actions, this will be number three, what actions are they currently thinking or about to take? And then your current feelings towards them. So maybe they make a move and you're like, wait a minute, mister. But we'll see. I mean, that's up to you. And then the last question will be the overall energy that really is supporting this connection. So if it's meant to be, because remember, sometimes we can get hung up on like free will, um, in free will relationships and think that they are like a soulmate. And it could be a soulmate, but not all soulmates are meant to last forever, are I feel like there's one particular soulmate that you will potentially live the rest of your life with. I'm hoping it's this one. Um, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the psychic tarot for the questions. We will use the gilded tarot. No, actually, what I'm going to use is the crystal tarot for their answers. And then I'm going to use the gilded tarot. And I'll probably just go right underneath. So kind of like a clarifier, but I would say a little more information. And I am going to use the major arcanas. One or two. Well, we'll see what wants to come out. But I'm really using these to help point us in the right direction. Again, we're connecting to our guides. So, soul to soul, we want to know these answers. Like what are they thinking within their very soul? So we'll use those also. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. Not too much. I like you to see a little light in the background. I take my final sip of coffee. And let's go ahead and begin. So these will be here. These will be here. But I am going to start with the major arcanas. Again, current love messages, or if there are no messages, like if you're not in contact, what's going on? Is this even something you should give any more time to? That's a free will decision, but we'll see. All right. I feel like my screen went too dark. I'm going to lift this up a little. All right. We have the moon. Moon, interesting. We're very close to the full moon in Capricorn, and that can be very grounding energy. Um, but I often read Capricorn is also very fiery. The moon is a card of Pisces, the ruler of Cancer. It can talk about uncertainties, but it's also dreamy energy. So interesting it came out. See if anything else wants to come out with it. Some of you can certainly just represent Pisces or Cancer. But I have a feeling it's a little bit more. All right, wow. Judgment, your spiritual team. It's like blowing the horn right over the moon. Look at that. This is your spiritual team within Judgment. And when you see Judgment, it's really calling you to the present moment, where we want to live anyway. It means signs are coming your way. It's interesting, though, how Judgment is blowing the trumpet towards the moon, like these uncertainties, almost like saying, make a decision. But I feel like it's more for the other person. It could be for you, though, too, though. You know, like maybe even just taking a step into it. Often when I see the moon, it reminds me that even though the moon can represent uncertainties, what we want to remember is that we're the ones who are really writing our book, our movie, our chapter. So, the moon can represent, like, I can't tell you more because it's really going to be up to you or them or the two of you. But again, you're being called into the present moment. And hello, magician. So, the magician can manifest something out of nothing. Magician is a reminder that you have all the tools that you need already on the table. He has the cups, the sword, the wands, pentacle. And it truly is the ability to make something out of nothing. Interesting. Oh, my screen just went so dark again. But this is the manifester and it's following Judgment. So I find that interesting. It's almost like it's answering a question. I'm not really sure what to do here. The magician would be someone who would take a chance, knowing that I have a lot of wisdom behind me. All the tools on his table or her table are due to the experiences that one has been through. And it's really the accumulation of the wisdom of each, what I feel is like each path. So, magician's like, I'm ready. And I feel like Judgment it's almost like this is your conversation. Like over here, this person's ready. Judgment is very happy about that. But then we have someone who, may be dealing with, or in their mind, there's some uncertainties. Okay. We're going to slide these to the side. Actually, let's put him out. Come on. I really want to get one of those, things. That's what I should do. Get a Scrabble game. Looking for one of those. It's like a wooden block that you can put your cards in. All right. So we're going to start with the Psychic Tarot. I am going to give it a few shuffles, because we are going to pull 5 cards. I'm going to give them a cut. And then I am going to pull them intuitively. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to kind of spread my deck out. Why did that not want to spread? Maybe it just doesn't want to spread. Interesting. This card. Well, that wanted to come with it. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. It's kind of the sloppy way of doing it, but I like to do that when I'm just literally feeling the energy is what I'm doing. All right, we'll look at the bottom in a moment. So we can go ahead and put these right back on top and let's begin. So their feelings for you currently, right now. Hmm. The Four of Cups, interesting. Four of Cups speaks about boredom and well, it literally says it, boredom and discontentment. But in one's emotional world, this person has their back to the world. They feel like they're in reflection, to be honest. Um, it is saying, that maybe the rest of their life looks pretty good, but it is, to me, representing that emotionally they're not fulfilled. I don't feel they're with you. I feel they're by themselves. I feel like they're in reflection. The one thing you want to remember in the Four of Cups is there is a cup coming in, and it feels like it's your energy. So, you know, in a way, I'm kind of glad to see that because, I want someone, if they really want to be with me, I want them to know that. You know what I mean? So, whatever reflection they may need, four is a very grounding number, also. All right. So, their current view of you. Oh, they don't trust you. They don't trust you for some reason. Seven of Swords, says deception and envy. But I just feel like there's something within the communication. Interesting. It may not be you they don't trust. It may be love they don't trust. They could have certainly dealt with, prior, let's just say, prior relationships where there was cheating, lying, deception. Someone could have certainly been. Boy, it's interesting because I do feel like this is. At first, I feel like it was you, but I don't think it's you. I think it's old energy that this person is the same as you, by the way, would not want to repeat. And this is why they're in reflection. And I love the judgment came out because that means their spiritual team is going to help them find the clarity that they're seeking. Now it's going to be up to them what they do with that. That's free will. But definitely, I feel it's like, I'm just going to say, I don't feel like they've had it easy in love. Hmm. This is why I always say we want to be careful that we don't pull old relationships into the potential of what can be new, or even, you know, uh, this person's in emotional, um, looking for emotional clarity, let's say, and what they're thinking is, well, I feel like they're afraid of love because of the things that they dealt with. Now, See how that's coming in between what can be? So that's old energy that I feel like they have yet to clear. Okay. What actions are they currently taking or thinking of taking? Seven of Cups. So they're in the question mode. They're in that question mode. Choose wisely. No pressure. 77, by the way. It may ring a bell for someone. Which direction do I go? They're thinking about that. Can I overcome the previous deception and envy? Now, I won't rule out that for some of you, it can be you, you know, or it's the other way around. But again, they're definitely an emotional, they're seeking emotional clarity is what they're doing. And then trying to make a decision. It's almost like the devil and an angel on the shoulders. I want to go forward, and then I get scared. I pull back. I want to go forward. I get scared. I pull back. Hmm. All right. Let's see what your current view or feelings of them are. Well, the Ace of Swords. Call me, baby. Call me. Communicate with me. Let's talk this out. Let's talk it out. I do not feel now, at least the majority of you are the Seven of Swords, the deceptive energy. I don't, because I feel like this is you really wanting to talk it out. And I also feel like this is the potential of talking it out. The Ace of Swords represents truth. But look what it says, triumphant success. Maybe. All right, let's see what the overall energy that is supporting this connection. Transformation. Death card. Um, Transformation probably needs to happen or probably needed to happen. It is mirroring the Four of Cups. So I could see asking myself also, if I do make this decision to, let's say, give my heart, then that does mean that there will be transformation in my life. I won't be living my old life, you know? But in a way, I feel like they're kind of tired of that anyway. I have a feeling for some of you, this is representing also past lives. And that could certainly be why it's hard to break this connection. It's interesting. I just did a past life reading. And in the past, well, I don't want to give too much away. It was so interesting. At least I thought so. I loved it. But let's just say the person, you, if you watch it, didn't, well, they did connect with, let's say, this person, but they weren't able to be together. And it was circumstances outside of them. So in this lifetime, I feel like it's like getting through the challenges, but then ultimately coming together. So if you relate to that past life reading, then you will understand what I'm saying because I do feel like past lives. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Huh. Eight of Swords, trapped in fear. But just on the bottom of the deck. Look at that. The wheel underneath it, much like transformation. It's like the wheel keeps on ticking. Time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future. And even the hermit underneath that. And hello, fool underneath that. And I did not mean to do this, but the emperor, I feel like if this person is a man, I feel like that's one of the things that, they may have been wrestling with, right? Like, I get this sense of, I know I have to be a better man or woman, right? I need to be accountable, but also wanting that. So, find that interesting. Let's put them back the way they were. So, the fool, a new beginning, taking that leap of faith. I think actually the hermit was under that. So that makes sense. We're in the year of the hermit, by the way. It says solitude. Well, this person is also in solitude. An emotion like thinking. And then taking that leap of faith, a new beginning, the wheel. I'm telling you, I already, I feel it so strongly that some of you, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of you, I feel like it's relating to past lives and it's come back around again. My boyfriend and I definitely feel we had past lives together. But listen, we didn't come, I mean, we did come together as teenagers, but we did break up. And it was 40 years later. Now, I'm not telling you you have to wait 40 years. I'm just saying that, you know, and it was all just so unexpected and romantic and all that. But it was after the fact. So, anyways, this Eight of Swords is a self created prison. Self created. That means that they can uncreate it. They don't need any help. This is about putting walls down. We know why the walls are up. Definitely the Seven of Swords. But I don't feel like it's because of you. So, another reason to put these walls down, right? Like, let's not blame someone it had nothing to do with cheating and lying and what have you. Okay, let's go ahead and bring in the crystal vision. And we're going to take one on top of each card. I'm going to give them a cut. Reason why I cut any decks that I'm using is really to introduce them into the already ongoing reading. All right. So, again, their feelings for you currently. We have the Four of Cups. See what else we get. Three of Swords. This person has had their heart broken. And I know you have too. You may share that energy. Interesting. Okay, well, let's see their current view. The Nine of Wands. This is good because this is reflection. It is singular. So I still don't feel like, anyone's reaching out at this point. But in the Nine of Wands, it's really about one reflecting back on one's life and really being proud of who I've become. Again, that emperor, I feel like this is someone who wants to be the emperor, right? I want to be that steady ground. But there's a lot this person is dealing with, but nothing they can't overcome. And that's what the Nine of Wands talks about. I call this person my spirit warrior. Just for the fact that they're willing to look back, but looking back without judgment. It's really looking at like the things that I have overcome. So this is good. I know it's still not bringing us together, but I would want this person to have this reflection because I feel like part of the issue, if this is something that's been on and off, part of the issue is what they're carrying around, the fear that they're carrying around. It may not have been spoken about. And I feel like that's why you have the Ace of Swords. Let's talk about it. All right, let's take one over their current actions. The Hierophant, their morals, their beliefs, their faith. You know what it feels like? It feels like someone who is growing up. It feels like someone who is maturing, like putting their, and I remember doing this, right? Like I used to go out all the time, have fun, you know what I mean? And then when you settle down, well, it's not that you can't still go out, not that you still can't have fun. It's just a different type of fun. This is also a card of Taurus, but it is a five. And five speaks of change. Just like the death card, transformation, closing of a chapter. So a new chapter can open up. All right, let's keep going. We have the Empress. Beautiful. Now we saw the Emperor. So I get the sense like this person knows who you are. I get the sense this person knows your value. Whether they've told you that or not, I don't know. Probably, but probably not completely. Interesting, because I feel this person is being very careful. I feel like they're in love with you. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they're in love with you. But I feel like there are issues that unless they deal with them, it would just be impossible for you. You know, especially with the Ace of Swords here, like, I want the truth. Only the truth will do. Like, don't come in and tell me what you think I want to hear. I want your truth. And here's my truth. But in through the Empress's energy, right? Loving, nurturing. But this person knows the Empress is nobody's fool. You know, some of you, it's interesting because she looks like she's about 9 months pregnant. Some of you may have like been in limbo. Well, I was going to say for 9 months, but I'm seeing these sevens also. I just get this feeling that they know that they have to be with you. They need to raise their own vibration. Now, I don't know that they would use those terms. So I just want to say that they know they would have to be, again, a better man or a better woman. But because we now have the Empress, where it's representing you, then I feel like the Emperor, especially with all the energy that's over it, like we saw the Emperor, right? We did see the Emperor. But it just, to me, it just looks like this person is like, I know that I have to let go of certain things to be with you. Again, I feel like the sense of it's almost like maybe it's their spirit guides, like in a way, bringing up old feelings, old hurts, old pains, but so they can reflect over them. Remember, we're in the year of the hermit. So a lot of spiritual reflection, but also a lot of spiritual awakenings. And in the Nine of Wands, that is my spirit warrior. It's moving right into the Hierophant. Almost like I know that my morals and your morals need to be closely aligned. Okay. Oh, wow. Hello, Knight of Cups. So the overall energy supporting this connection, death, but rebirth. Remember that. The death card is death/rebirth. Wow. Hello, past lives again. Now we have the Knight of Cups. That's good news. And is heading right towards the Empress. Coming into the reading. Remember how we saw the wheel? It also reminds me of death. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched a past life reading, this is very similar. In a way. In a way. Knight of Cups, unexpected cup of love. Heading right towards the Empress. So you may want to even think about your own energy, right? Because the Empress, her heart is open. But she is nobody's fool. She knows that now. She's gone through all of this. And that's why her vibration, I get the sense like I know I must meet that vibration. Again, I don't feel like those are the terms that they'll use, but that's what they're thinking. I feel like, and I don't want to give anyone false hope, but here comes the Knight of Cups. All right, let's use the Gilded Tarot and go right below. Here's a potential that I'm feeling. I feel like there may be a phone call, some type of communication. I feel like chances are it's going to be a phone call, if not in person. But let's just say a phone call. And through that phone call, I'd say keep your cool and let them speak. If you can, you can. Because I feel like what they're going to say, it's important that you hear it, but listen with your spiritual ears. This is not something I'm trying to talk you out of, because actually I feel like this person has done a lot of work, has done a lot of reflection. It may have taken time. And, I'd never tell you to wait around for something or someone. I say that all the time, like waiting. Well, the Empress isn't waiting. The Empress is busy. She's creating. But the Empress also, I would say, in a loving way, would demand that anyone I'm going to give my heart to must also be of an equal vibration. That means you want to be with me. I don't want to force you. I don't even want to try to talk you into it. I want you to want me. Or let's just end this. Though I do feel like it's got some great potential here. All right, well, those seem to be the cards that wanted to come out. By the way, I want to turn, look at that. Something made me just say, I need to turn the crystal vision around. Hello, soulmates. Hello, past life lovers. The high priestess underneath that. Intuitively feeling that, knowing that. Look at that. The emperor. The high priestess, the soulmates, and the emperor with the empress out on the table. All right. So we'll just put those right on top. And oh my gosh, look at this. This is the marriage card. This is the commitment card. And what we're talking here is about their current feelings for you. This person is thinking long and hard, reflecting, but also their spiritual team. I kind of feel like this is meant to be. But that doesn't mean, it doesn't promise us that it will be because of free will. But I have to say, it feels like, especially because the Knight of Cups was the last card that came in up here, and then the Four of Wands. We have the High Priestess. You know, we saw the High Priestess twice, and I just get a feeling like that there is a connection beyond the physical. You know, almost like, what's the word I want to use? Um, you know, because I do feel like we're talking about true soulmates and potential past lives. I'm not going to just say one life. I feel like chances are that you can connect like on a spiritual level. I feel like this person over here has been like living in the earthly world where you've been growing and flourishing like within your creativity, but also the spiritual world. I definitely feel that you can connect. You know, even the high priestess, when you think about the high priestess, she really is the one who stands before the gate of the Akashic records, right? The Akashic records is the story of your life. Things that you know and the things that you don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Geez, oh man. Hello, lovers. Mirrored by the Hierophant. Coming under the Seven of Cups. And it's under the question, what actions are they currently thinking of taking or are going to take? Well, the lovers, number one, card of Gemini. The meaning is a head over heart decision. It is coming over or coming under where I'm actually trying to make a decision. But because it's being met by a five, change, I feel like with this representing and the Ace of Swords, where I felt like it was a phone call, now I really feel like it's a phone call. And here's why. Because you can see the feminine's energy, right? You can see her. The masculine energy is still in, they're on this earth. It's just, and she's feeling this energy, right? They can feel each other's energy. That's why the high priestess is here. They can feel each other's energy. And this is really a lot of chemistry. I mean, you know, look at what's going on. All right, let's keep going. We'll come back. We have the Three of Pentacles. Interesting that we have two threes mirroring each other, 33. Some of you could have a life path 33. Some may have a life path 7. I don't know why I'm bringing up life paths all of a sudden. But Three of Pentacles in a love reading, to me, is a great sign because this is about the celebration of your individuality, who you are, and being admired for that. So this isn't someone who's looking down upon you, quite the opposite. But I do have to say, in the Three of Pentacles, like oftentimes that admiration isn't spoken about until it is. Some of you may do something like, like have a YouTube channel or, where they're able to see what you're doing. And it's like they're admiring it from afar. They're admiring you, but it really feels like what you're doing at the same time. But this is really about the celebration of each soul here, right? Their individuality and the ability to be truly who you are, no mask, no facade needed. And really, why would we want it any other way? And then look at that, the Ace of Swords, ring, ring, mirroring the Knight of Cups. Holy cow. Ace of Swords mirroring the Four, or mirroring the marriage card, the commitment card. Reason why I always say marriage, then commitment, because not everyone is, it's not always marriage that I'm seeking. It's just true commitment, right? Like, let's live our lives together. Look at this beautiful line. There's no denying the chemistry. I feel like I cannot deny that the majority of you have lived past lives together. I love that the Knight of Cups is coming in towards the Empress, you, because the one thing I feel like you wanted to do is talk, but truthful, a truthful conversation. Here it is. So, this is what I was hoping for, and then here it is. And by the way, mirroring the marriage card and the Knight of Cups. Let's see what's on the bottom of this deck. Hello, Chariot. Unlimited potential. It's almost like this Chariot is taking you from previous life into this life. The Chariot is a card of Cancer. But the Chariot speaks about unlimited potential. But we gotta know that. The Chariot needs balance to become unlimited potential. Balance of the feminine and the masculine, the light and the shadow, and it's knowing all parts of oneself. So, long story short, this person is in reflection because they definitely feel like they dealt with someone. They don't feel like it, they did, who carried untrustworthy energy. Their heart got broken. Now, let me just say, it could be you in the Seven of Swords. But what I'm really feeling is that they may have a little bit of a trust issue. And I feel like judgment is what is really, let's say, opening up the energy or giving them the ability to look back, but look back with a different lens, right? I've gotten my heart broken, but I don't feel like it was you. And I feel like once they start moving through this energy, they're only coming closer and closer to you. Now, I'm going to say it again though. Remember, the Empress is not someone who just sits around and waits for someone. But this Empress may be, she may be working on things, creating, but still probably has this person on the back of her mind. This is probably what I would call divine timing. And I am 99.9% sure that you have had previous lives together. And I'm 99.9% sure that this is relating back to that past life reading. Because I feel like it is getting over this last hump, but an important hump, so to speak. And let's not forget, where did we see the magician? We saw the magician somewhere. Um, oh, right here. No, right here. The manifester. Building something out of nothing. Boy, that reminds me, was it Meatloaf? There's like a song that reminds me of. So, I feel like you're going to get a phone call. Now, it could be the other way around. So, maybe you're making that phone call. You know, you'll know you're either here or you're over here. But let me tell you, this reading is definitely showing us a couple things. First of all, just because someone's a soulmate doesn't promise that it's going to be easy. Now, once we've cleared past energy, like rebalanced ourselves, then I feel like then it can flow. And the Empress is great at helping someone who has been, like I'm sure you've been through this energy too. And maybe they caused heartache for you. But here's the thing, I feel like through this conversation, this may come up. And I don't know, I get the sense that you're a great healer, like just through your energy alone. Oh, excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry, had a knock at my door. Um, I don't know, guys. I think I'm just gonna let that be. I mean, wow. Wow. How long is it from here to here? I can't really answer that. But I do feel like this self created prison, I do feel the walls coming down. And that's a good thing. The recognition and even the feelings seem to be like off the chart, the chemistry off the chart. And that may have scared this person. And I know some are going to be like, oh, well, too bad. And I agree. However, if this is someone you want in your life, then we want to know, like, those elements. But I'm just going to let this be. I feel like, I don't know, I'm so glad I did this reading. And I promise you, I'm not trying to push this reading, but boy, do I feel the past life reading connected to this reading. And I definitely feel that there were past lives between these lovers. This love is coming in. It's being met by you, the Empress, which I feel is just beautiful. You know, I feel like it's interesting. We keep seeing the Emperor. And the Emperor, you know, I feel like eventually would come to the table anyway. But I'm going to leave this be. I just loved it. I just loved it. You know, and I know I'm saying I just loved it. And I know that some of you are dealing with, you know, heartache and, um, but I want you to also remember the Empress. I really don't feel like she sits around and waits for someone. It doesn't mean that I don't still love them or what have you. But if they've gone to like no contact, then, you know, but yet I do feel like you'll be back together. I just feel that. And I feel like this conversation, like this initial conversation, now it's going to be completely up to you, but I feel like the more you listen versus talk, the more that will be revealed to you. And that may help you make an ultimate decision. You know, we can't deny soulmates. This Four of Wands, beautiful, my favorite love card. The Knight of Cups, the Lovers, two Aces of Swords. I mean, it's just speaking, right? It's just speaking to us. So I'm going to let that be. I don't want this to be that long. So, and it really didn't need to. It's like everything came out. Beautiful. All right, guys. I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.